I'm Emma, and you're tuned into the Spilly podcast.
Whoa.
So the other day I was having a discussion with my friend, and he asked me, "What if I were the president of Nigeria? What two things would I change about the country?" And like I mentioned two things, I asked him as well, and we had like a great discussion after that. So I just wanted to throw the question out there to my team. So welcome, guys. It's back to have. Is that what? Welcome back, guys. Glad to have you here. So as I mentioned before, like I want to know if you guys were elections are coming up soon, and everybody can say what they want about like different candidates. But if you were the president of Nigeria, what would you change about the country? And let's start with Rahama. So,
Hey. So, thank you very much for having me on this great platform to share one or two things, words of wisdom. If I were the president of Nigeria, what would I change and why? That's actually a tricky question. I think basically I'll just change one thing and one thing alone. And that's the system, the entire system of operation, system of governance, because I definitely do think like where we have it all wrong is actually in the system. The system is not created to suit us as Africans. We literally just copied and paste, and sometimes when you're copying, you need to realize like you are doing something entirely different. The demography is different, the culture is different, so you can't just copy democracy from elsewhere verbatim and like paste. So I think that's like what has been wrong with our governance over the years. I think that we've actually have like good people or people with good intentions in the government before now, but because but I do think because the system is wrong, we don't get to like see or appreciate what these people are actually doing. So yes, I would definitely change the system anytime, any day as a president. And I think it would just literally go along with like I'm always rooting for. I think that's like my criteria for like choosing someone to vote for, and just go for somebody who has that like history of either working in a good system or has been able to like create a good system either in their prior work place or like in the things they've done before. That's it for me.
Drops like okay, yeah. Next person, when we are done, we now like discuss about everybody's points.
Okay, for me personally, for myself, and I. That's an inside joke. Anyways, I think I will start from, like she mentioned, people that occupy certain positions in government must be people that have experience, knowledge, or have been trained for it. I think we cannot have a pilot being the minister for health. As much as you might have the passion and everything, if you lack the know-how, you are going to be struggling with your good intentions. So if we're going to have heads of ministries that are skilled in that particular ministry, so they know what to do. We're not copying and pasting, basically. And then the second thing is that punishment. Oh my Jesus. If you do bad, you receive both. Because I feel like when we punish people that misbehave, people coming behind, they will learn. Let me say we heard that you stole money and the punishment is that we will amputate both hands and lock you in kirikiri for a while. The next person that is coming knows that that's the punishment, and when they want to steal, they'll be better advised. I think we should also add family members to the punishment too, so that the family members can advise when they are stealing. Like, baby, don't steal. If you steal, they'll cut your hand and cut my own too. I think that's the two things I'll focus on. People in offices, occupying public offices, should be skilled and then good punishment.
So I guess it's my turn. Thank you for this rare opportunity to present my manifesto
The 2035 manifesto.
to the whole of Nigeria. So I mean, like 2 things that I would do. When I was told about it, I was thinking, in Nigeria, surely 2 things can solve it. But at the end of the day, I think the first thing I would do that will solve several other issues. You can quote me, because when I get into office, it's literally the first thing I'll do. If it is not done by them, I'll restructure Nigeria. I'll make sure that we no longer have a centralized system of governance. We have a decentralized system of governance. So first thing, as that affects industry and productivity. If you are in a state, use the resources that God has given you in that state. Generate revenue, run your state. It's not somebody somewhere in some part of Nigeria that's not corporate. It's not generating anything. And based on the revenue allocation by the federal government, you just collect money and be talking nonsense online. No, you generate your revenue. I think what that would do is it will cause leaders to be creative. Those ones in some parts that are not thinking, they'll start to think. Because I mean, if you don't have oil, then what? Can you leverage tech? We've gone past, the era where we just depend on just natural resources. We now have mental resources and all of that. Can you leverage that? Are you able to develop and export talent? Are you able to drive commerce beyond oil? So I think that's the first thing I would do, and that will even just trickle down to things like community policing. So leaders around security vehicles would be people from that locality, because I mean, it's only a Calabar man that knows how to relate best with Calabar people. And like if you check in our villages, they know the family that now there they produce teeth. So if something needs, they know who. And imagine if somebody from that geographical zone is the one that is tasked with security, like we have sheriffs in the West and all of that. So I think that's the first thing I would do. I would decentralize governance, and basically I'll restructure. The second thing I would do, this one is interesting, but really the second thing I would do is give companies a lot of tax breaks if they are able to assist government in doing what government is supposed to do. So don't forget, if I decentralize power, so much money is not going to come to the federal government like normal. If I decentralize power, all the people that are running to Abuja, they'll go back to their state and look for power, because I mean, someone from Rivers, what's he doing in Abuja when there is oil in Rivers? That now leaves the federal government with not a lot of money, at least compared to present times. So federal government might not be able to take on as much federal projects. So if engagement now says, we are going to tar the road in Kumasi Crescent, we are going to light up all the street lights, we are going to set up a hub for training people and all of that. No problem. 5% tax break. Instead of paying your income tax of say 10 to 20%, I'm giving you 5%. Use that 5%. That's your thank you for, and drive more policies that will enable business. I think in that second district, I'll now make it fundamental for us to drive digital trade. Instead of just putting ban here and there and holding it back. So 2 things. That's what it requires more than 2. There's the praying part, but I think we just stick with the 2.
Interesting. Me, when I was asked that question, my 2 things were the judiciary system and transportation. So for the judiciary system, as you said, I don't think people in Nigeria are accountable for their actions, and that's why you can't just do anyhow. There are so many loopholes, and I think like by the time we address judiciary system, then a lot of things will be like better. Because if like there's even someone that is running for presidency now that had a case like last year where he embezzled like 6.7 billion, and the guy's like, I even have money. Yeah.
And he's presently in Senate, so let's even just start from there.
And so the guy is even saying like, oh, like I even have enough money to even run for campaign. So like we don't hold anybody accountable for their actions, and by the time like we start holding people accountable, so we can like we can address this. Even the constitution, when would last was the constitution like revised? We're using the one of 1999, and how many years passes this now? Like we need to change some things. Yes, and obviously what was happening in 1999 is not what was happening in 2022. So we need to review the.
I think I'm beginning to rethink my. I feel like if we restructure, so many things will happen. One of two things. This thing she said. You see this constitution, we throw it away, then we draft a new one. That's one. Or electoral reform. Yes.
I feel like the electoral reform should even be now, even before the entire president.
But you're saying pay if you vote me into office.
Actually,
because right now, whether I like it or not, there's one boss that I respect so much from the north. You know, so electoral reform. How many people think that if we do electoral reform, Nigeria will change?
I definitely think like with the way that Nigeria is right now, doing an electoral reform would literally not go that far or go a long way, because first there's the challenge of accountability and people like so like now we've we've done the reform, then what are the other things in place to hold people who cross the reforms like accountable? If there's no accountability, there's no, like the reform will definitely not take place. So I feel like there's reform is just like the branch. We literally need to like address the roots itself, because we've had like rules being reformed every day, laws and all that, but because there's no accountability, there's nobody, no law, like nobody ensuring and enforcing these laws. Exactly, we're back to square one. So right now I literally do not think that electoral reform will help us.
So there's this conversation that even if you take Nigerians out of Nigeria and take it to another place, that the place is still going to be corrupt. So I would say the people we have that like personally we have to put in the effort to be better people.
I'd like to disagree. See, please, I'm running for office. If you take anybody from anywhere into another place, they will exhibit the common traits of the environment they are coming from. It's normal human instinct. It's not only Nigerians. And some of us, I heard Jemine saying that the punishment, that is very good, right? And it's just still falls back to accountability. But guys, what I think is that, see, sometimes all of us are saying we want to go abroad. If you go abroad with this Nigerian mindset, they don't used to tell you, you just adjust. You can't beat traffic lights in the US. Nobody will be there warning you, you know. So I think it's because of lack of accountability that's made the system broken. Nigerians are the best people on the planet. Put me anywhere. We are courteous. Are we corrupt? Yes, but Americans are also corrupt, you know. So please, we just don't know how to hide our own way.
I think it's just like in Singapore, like they were having a lot of like corruption issues and everything, and then they had one president that was just like capital punishment. If you mess up, you mess up. Now, Singapore is like one of the best looking countries now, so like addressing our judicial system and like punishment is one thing that's going to help like change a lot of things. I had a friend that used to live in Singapore. She can't, like in Nigeria, she probably like threw gum and everything on the road, but in Singapore, you cannot throw gum on the road. So like things like that, you know that if you mess up, you collect.
But just to add, I don't think we have to have generational punishment. I do not succumb to it.
Generational. I just feel like if you know that if your husband brings you gold now, and it's not part of his salary, or his salary does not cover,
yes,
and you know that when it's caught, you will collect from that punishment, you will tell him to return it.
Okay, I get it now, because I do feel like with the recent increase in whatever. I think this part, because sometimes you find out that like the family members are actually the ones that support pushing them or pressurizing them.
Please, let's be objective. I like this. So it falls back to accountability. But do you know that people are suffering in Nigeria? So, they are telling us to round up, bro. I'll still say it. Because I feel like when people are in survival mode, they take on anything that comes to them. Now, this is not justifying it, but I think that the most important thing is just to restructure Nigeria. Everything will fall in line. If you know that is Mama Nkozi's great-grandchild, that is the Commissioner of Health, and our hospitals are bad, I know their house. I can go to him. And I know that if I take him to the governor is not going to blame Buhari. The governor can do something, you know. I think if you get arrested, the judiciary system will work. Because it's not just one damn banzo from somewhere that is the chief judge in... No, I say that because I don't want to mention anybody's name. Just make it no be say na coincidence. But you can't have somebody like, okay, say if your born now is the chief judge in Kano. What does he know about their ethnicity and their culture? You know, I think that's the first straw that we need to...
Yeah, like all the arguments we've got. As you said, we cannot exhaust this topic today. So, but for the sake of the podcast, we just have to like round up here. My second point, which like we'll not be able to talk about, was transportation. But I'll just leave that open to like think why would transportation be like a very important reason on solving Nigeria's problem. And I also like our audience like send us your comments, your own like what two things would you change if you were the president of Nigeria?
French fries. All right.
Yeah, that's it.
Alright, it was nice being here.
Is this the point where we say, please like, share, subscribe, and turn on notifications so that you'll be notified about our next post? Maybe that's how they used to say. I'm a star. Look at that.
Now you can also send us like topics you want us to talk about. Let's do it together.
What's our host supposed to do?
The host has closed.